Hey guys, Joanna here. So it's like day 5 of radiation is done. And that means that the first week is over. And I have 5 more weeks to go, which is pretty awesome to me because, like when I got started, I didn't think I could make it this far. And now I'm like, all right, we are 1/6 of the way done. Yes! And I've discovered that that's how we get through everything, right? Is one step at a time. And so, this morning, I gotta tell you, I was not in the best moods. And that's because yesterday, I was not in the best moods. And I didn't do anything with it, right? So, I did what I needed to do. And I wasn't feeling too good. I had this headache going on and bellyache going on. And it was just all that chemo stuff working on me. And I had talked to someone the day before who just kind of messed with my head. And I was filling my head with all these thoughts of I'm not good enough and, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And, I messed up. And if I wasn't such a screw up. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. At least I got to the point that I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What part of that is true? None of that is my fault. None of that is true. So why am I so messed up about it? And why am I allowing this to come into my head, right? Because the reality is I'm kind of awesome. And yes, I screw up. But, that doesn't mean that I'm a screw up. It just means that I make mistakes, right? I make mistakes, but because I make mistakes does not mean that I am a mistake, right? So there's a difference there. And, so I cannot let myself long-term think like that. So yesterday was kind of a day as far as my attitude went. And so I was sitting there thinking today, what can I do that I have not done that I can move myself out of where I'm at? Because yesterday sucked and today's going to be better. So how am I going to handle that? And so this morning I was like, okay, so what do I normally do? Well, what I normally do on any given day, and you can judge this if you want, but it works. And it's working now. So what I do on any given day is, first thing I do is I wake up, take the dogs out. I meditate. They meditate with me. They're very well trained for that. And then I either put on some awesome music or motivational speeches and I get my stuff done. And I dance around the house and I talk to myself, give myself a good pep talk before I walk out the house. And, then I go about my day. And it always works. And so I was sitting here right now, figuring out, well, how do I know that it works? Well, number one is that I always feel better. And, really, if you know me, you know that anytime I'm done dancing, I'm in a great mood. And the world is in a much better place. And that's because, my body moves. Because, think about it. At the end of the day, most of us are sitting in our computers. Imagine sitting in our computers. And, we're doing our things. And, our butt's not moving. And we're bored. Because we're like this all day long. And then we come home and we do this right in front of the TV. Right? We just relax and lay there in front of the TV. And then we go to bed. And that's what we do with our days, right? So we're not moving our bodies. There's no way for anything to happen up in here, right? No way. Nothing's going to happen. And then, we get up the next day and we start all over again. And we load it up with things in addition to doing that, then we load it up with things like the news and who's died and who's been shot. And, very rarely is there anything great in the news. We actually have to go and do some work to find that. And, so we keep loading ourselves up and eventually we're overwhelmed and we're just like this big blob. And I don't mean necessarily a big blob of physicality. I mean a blob. A big green blob that just all over the place. all over the place, right? And like, it's no wonder that we are in bad moods, you know? So like, if we're doing that all the time, of course we're going to be like in a foul mood, which is why today when I woke up, I was like, I got to do something to change this. I have got to go back to my normal routine and just dance this out. Because today is going to be a better day. No matter what happens, today is going to be a better day. And as you can see, today was blood day, so that's always a freak out type of thing for me. But today is a better day because I was proactive this morning. And that leads me to this, right? So I know a little bit about chakras. And for those that don't know, chakras is an Eastern way of saying that we have energy centers in our bodies. And Western medicine talks about this too. Western spiritualities, Western traditions, they all talk about this, that we have these energy centers in our body. You know, like when you get a headache, do that. Press on your temples, rub your temples. There's an energy center right there. When you get another headache, in a certain other place, press on that unless you're pregnant, you know, and then slowly release it. That's an energy center. Like, we are filled with energy centers. Well, Eastern traditions are just like, well, you know what? We have chakras. And we have 7 main chakras right here. And then we have 7 chakras that go above it. So, like, we have 14 chakras all in line. And then we have all these other minor chakras right there and right there. So, like, our chakras, our energy centers must move. And if they don't move, then we create stagnation and we don't go anywhere. That's just the way that the world runs. I mean, if you think about it, like, think about a gearbox, right? So you've got gears in there and you got to wind them up. And if you don't wind them up and keep them greased, they eventually freeze up. That's what happens with our bodies. If we want things to change, we got to change them. We have to make movement. And so, you know, that brought me to another thing. Like, okay, why is it so important to move my body? And so I'm a fan, big, huge fan of Tony Robbins. Like, I love the man. I've gone to his coaching school, and I've been to his seminars, and I've read like every book that he's ever written because I'm a huge fan. Like, the dude speaks my language. And so he has this guy, Joseph McClendon III, who comes out at his Unleash the Power Within events. And if you want tickets for that, let me know and I'll hook you up with the right people. And so, you know, Joseph McClendon III says, Astitude is the positive emotions generated by the shaking movement of the gluteus maximus muscles and hip flexors. The scientific study of shaking one's ass as pertains to one's joyous feelings. So it sounds to me like I'm not the only person who gets it that shaking my ass is a good thing. And that all the dancing that I've been doing for years is a good thing. And so, like, I've been sitting here working on this playlist that tomorrow I will be uploading it onto YouTube, full with, like, these really great songs for when you're in a pissy mood and you gotta get yourself out of it. Like, dude, I know that it works. I mean, I got cancer, right? Not too many other things that people are gonna be like, you know what? Your life is over. Well, it doesn't mean my life is over. It just means that it's taken a different trajectory than I wanted it to, than I was expecting to. And let me tell you, when someone tells you you've got cancer, dude, your whole life goes like right in front of your eyes. I don't know how to do it any other way. It just comes crashing in front of you, you know? And I still have breath in my body, so there's still a purpose for my life, right? So if there's still a purpose for my life and I'm still trying to find another way to make myself, like, motivated to do something and to be, you know, part of other people's lives, like, there's a reason for your life. You know, like, I don't know what that is, but you know what that is. And the people around you know what that is, right? So, like, if you're having a bad day, like I was having a bad day today, then, you know, like, try shaking your ass. Try putting some movement in there and, like, see what happens. Because of all these Eastern traditions and all these Western traditions and, you know, like, motivational coaches and speakers and trainers, if all these people are using it and people are, like, being really successful and they're happy, no matter, like, what's going on in the, even when the world's falling down among them, like, maybe there's something to shaking that ass. So tomorrow, check the YouTube page, and, you know, like, if you don't know how to check the YouTube page, go to the little YouTube thing right around this part of your computer someplace. It says YouTube, and I'll bring it up, and you can subscribe to my page someplace up in here, and then tomorrow you'll see the playlist. So I've talked a long time. I've talked more than I wanted to, but that's because I didn't know exactly how to say, you should shake your ass if you want to have a better day. So have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.